Hello, my friends, and welcome to the temple. I am your high priestess, Erin Siniva McHugh, and today we are here to connect to the greater energies around us, to connect to our source selves, and happy full moon, whatever that means for you, and we'll talk about it. So I call in the presence of the divine, our higher selves, our highest selves. I call in the presence of the benevolent forces, our divine dragons, unicorns, spirit guides, benevolent teachers and weavers of the divine plan. Support us, great ones, so that we can realize ourselves, so that we can support the awakening of this planet and the deepening of our work, our wisdom, and our worth. Thank you. So I'm no longer reading the prayer that I used to for about a year, and just being improvisational in the moment with my devotion. And yes, it is the full moon in Pisces, I believe. And you've probably heard that there's also an eclipse tonight, a lunar eclipse. How have you been feeling? Let me ask you, how have you been feeling? This has been quite an interesting week for me, emotionally intense. And if you are a human woman, you might have your own, level of intensity that you're experiencing as well. For me, I got to enjoy my second menstruation of the month. Thank you very much. And, interesting to be so you all know I'm in my mid-40s, right? So I am in this place where there's already things changing and happening. And then if there's things happening on top of that collectively, right? When there was in June, apparently there were tens of thousands, if not more, women reporting that they were, that their menstruation was messing up, or that they had 2 cycles that month or something like that. I'm like, hey, I'm over here. I had 4 cycles in 2 months at the beginning of the year. And then this lovely eclipse says, how about we just drop another one in there for you? So thank you very much. So it's been a rather emotionally intense week to have that second hormone explosion, right, with my flow, and then also to have this, the eclipse happening at the same time. And yes, hi Donna. Some are saying that what women are experiencing, the disruption of our menstrual cycle, is happening due to the upgrade, if you will, of our cell towers coming into the 6th generation. Oftentimes that in the past has corresponded with different things, such as, who's messaging me? Sorry, my computer's making noises. Somebody's messaging me. So the invent of the radio, right, also corresponded at the same time with the Spanish flu that killed lots and lots of people, right? There was a lot of correlation with COVID and thinking that COVID also was because 5G blasted off and came online. So it's a different experience to say, well, if 6G is happening, look at what it's doing now to our cycles, right? To our nature, mostly, right? It's going to be affecting nature. And so we need to be in this real presence so that we can acknowledge and speak up about something's happening that's affecting us, and you need to know about it. The world needs to know about it, right? So I think it's fantastic that information. All right, Sage. I've got in my Instagram comments over here that you all can't see, but Mr. Senior Sage over here is making jokes that he's still menstruating. He never stopped. He's just one constant menstruation over there. So I think it's amazing that this was tracked in a way that all of these, women were sharing what was happening with them, and that others started to notice and kind of start to keep track. But I would love to talk about the moon today. I'd love to talk about eclipses, and very interestingly, that there are moon witches, right? I have some in my life, who work with the moon, who honor the moon, who revere the moon, venerate the moon, and who will tell you that eclipse energy, we don't work with the moon. So why don't we work with the moon when there's an eclipse? And very simply put, that the eclipse times are when the energy of the void is very present. And when the eclipses happen, we're blocking out a certain energy, a certain frequency is not being provided for us. So whether that is the moon blocking the sun or the earth blocking the light of the sun to the moon so that the moon can't reflect it back to us, there is the presence of the void that comes forward. The void is the feminine, right? The void is that empty space, but also not empty. The void is also where, there's a lot of different names for this, but the void is the unmanifest. The void is also antimatter. The void is also filled with something that we might not have a name for it right now. We'll call it plasma. So the majority of the universe is actually filled with the void. Filled with the void. That's not the right way to say that, but right. So the majority of the universe is not matter. It's not mass. It's the opposite of that. It is that which creates the mass, that which comes before what is created. And so what is that? It's a form of plasma. It is consciousness. It is cosmic intelligence, right? So when the moon is blocked, whether it's just visibly blocked, with this alignment of the earth, moon, and sun, and it's really just a visual thing for us, it really is actually this energetic thing. And then let's take this to another level of, when the moon blocks the sun, what is the energy that is being blocked there? Because solar energy is very different than lunar. And if you've been following me for a while, you might already know how I feel about the moon. I do not work with the moon. I am not a moon witch. Actually, I avoid the moon, and I will tell you why. There are many reasons why. But first, I want to I want to bring you into the presence of ancient awareness. There's a tribe on the planet called the Dogon tribe. They're in West Africa, Nigeria, I believe. And they might be in more places than Nigeria, but the Dogon tribe is the oldest oral tradition tribe that is still intact on the planet, right? Still keeping their oral traditions, still telling their stories. And one of the stories that they tell is the time before this moon. They don't say the time without the moon. No. They say the time before this moon. And there was even an awareness of the moon being brought here. So we don't know how long ago this was, because the Dogon tribe are not timekeepers, right? They don't keep track of time in a linear way that we do in Western culture. But there is this presence of the time before and the time after this moon arrived. There are also Incan texts that have been translated to share very similar stories about when this moon came here, right? So we're looking at histories that are beyond the Stone Age, right? Because we have to consider, well, but our ancestors, our ancestors worshipped the glowing thing in the night sky, right? Because it gave you light, it gave you information, right? It has a presence. Whenever my children see the moon, they say hello to the moon. The moon has a presence. You can't miss it, right? How do you feel about the moon? I would love to know. Share in the comments. So there's this, there was a time before this moon. Was there a moon already here before this moon? Methinks yes. I think so. Because in these sharings, in these oral traditions, and in the texts, there was a moon before this one. Especially the Incan texts speak to that. And one of these days I'm going to go track that down, because I remember, reading the translation, seeing it with my own eyes. So, so there's that. So starting with that, many thousands of years, Neolithic times, perhaps, right? 4,000 or 5,000 years back, these traditions, right, can speak to these cultures. So with that information, now we have also, yeah, Red Hair Anomaly says, I feel the same. People don't respond well to it. And it's true, because we are, when we say, ooh, I don't think you should trust the moon, I don't think you should do rituals with the moon, then why? But our ancestors, hi, Freaky Hannah, our ancestors worshipped the moon, worked with the moon, kept the cycles of the moon, followed nature, like the properly following the cycles of time. You need to be in tune with the moon. Well, yeah, because that's all you've known. That's all that our ancestors knew, right? We don't have oral traditions keeping us in the presence of mind that moon was not always there, right? We weren't raised with that. We were raised with, you plant your plants according to the moon, you do these things according to the moon. Because why? Not because the moon is, I have power over you. The moon has mass, and that mass pulls and pushes the tides, right? I read a thing this morning that said that the moon was placed here in order to control the weather, in order to tame the weather. And that was the first I had heard of that. I don't know about that because the weather is being manipulated in all sorts of ways these days, right? However, those who are clairvoyant, who have strong intuition and have tuned into the moon, leaving behind narratives, leaving behind what they've been taught, and just directly receiving energy from the moon, they receive a malevolent energy. Now, many years ago, I don't know when this happened, might have been in the 80s. For some reason, 1986 is coming into my head, and I have no idea if that's true. I'll just say it out loud. At a certain point, NASA hit the moon with a rocket, kind of maybe to test it or something. I don't know why. But they hit the moon with a rocket, and the moon rang like a bell for a while, right? So is it metallic? Another aspect of the moon is that the craters in the moon from asteroids, from meteors hitting the moon, the craters only go to a certain depth, right? The craters on this planet, they depend on the mass and the velocity of the meteor. And they're all at different depths because the Earth is Earth and it has depth, right? But the moon does not have depth. Why is that? So all of the, excuse me, all of the craters on the moon are very shallow and they have the same depth, but they will have different widths of the crater, diameter, excuse me. So what does that tell you? Right? So there are a lot of aspects that are fact driven that we know, things that we know about the moon. First of all, it's the only celestial body or satellite that doesn't spin, right? This is the foremost questionable aspect that I really am like, are you paying attention to this? Right? The moon doesn't spin, everything else spins. every other planet's moon spins on an axis, excuse me. Yeah. And so when I have had, let's see, what did I do exactly? I remote viewed. I feel like I also had a dream once, but I did remote view. I don't think it was, let me tell you, this is not a technical remote view. I have done remote viewing before, but when I looked into the moon, I was looking at it psychically. To be honest, like it wasn't an actual like remote viewing protocol. It was a process of me looking at the moon, with my senses, with my abilities. And I actually could see meetings. Actually, what it did look like was one of the newer Star Wars movies of the Federation meeting, right? And there's all these like tiers, representatives of different planets and star systems all being represented. That's what I saw. Red hair, what'd you see? What did you see? So So I saw this, and this is something, even though I'm not a fan of Elizabeth April, and I don't think that she's always telling the truth, because she also says that the Galactic Federation are our friends, which, if you have any intuition about that and boundaries around channeling, then you would know that that's not true. That's not true. So, but this is like probably the one thing that I agree with her about, is that the moon is hollow and it is being used as a meeting place, and it is being used, take it or leave it. I don't really care if you agree with me. It is being used as a satellite to project an energetic frequency. This energetic frequency is the consciousness grid that we refer to as the matrix. So on Instagram, Red Hair Anomaly says, I saw the same. We're not allowed to go inside, but I've been on the light side, but psychically I know there are buildings on the other side. And yes, agreed. There are, I just got so many chills. There are buildings on the other side. Absolutely. Yes, Alana. So, so what do we do with this information, my friends, right? We need to just be educating ourselves, because as we educate ourselves on this information, which can be really hard to take in, especially if you are a lunophile, right? If you love the moon, right? And you have had a relationship with the moon for your whole life, and you've loved, like, I went through a grief process when I realized, and it almost makes me want to cry again, when I realized that the moon was not my friend. And I was like, but I've been loving the moon like my whole life, and I used to do new moon ceremonies, and then my higher self was like, yeah, those were new moon ceremonies, because new moon ceremonies and rituals are safe. My own higher self was protecting me by not encouraging me to do full moon rituals and ceremonies, only new moon. Because on the full moon, your energy is being harvested mad, right? So why are the emergency rooms much more busy on the full moon, right? Why do we associate the full moon with people who are loony, right? People who are losing it. So these energies correlate, right? Correlation does not necessarily mean causation, but they have to do with each other, because the power of this energy is at its highest from the moon, at its highest. The manipulation is at its highest at the full moon. Here's another fact about the moon. Did you know that moonlight is cold? If you are outside under the full moon and you stand in the shade, like under a tree where the moonlight is not on you, you will be warmer than if you stand out under the full moonlight. Measured, scientific fact. Okay? Why? Why is that? What is that light, which is a reflection? There's more than light that's coming from the moon, right? So let's have this awareness. I'm not giving you this information to scare you in any way, but to empower you. My job as a guide, as a teacher of adults, is to support your awakening, to support you being aware. Awakening is about being aware. So your awareness expands. When you start working outside of the lunation cycles and connect only with your own cycles, especially women, you will find that you are in a different cycle. My personal cycles, before perimenopause, my cycle was always on the mark 26 days, not 28. And yes, we say, oh, there's a window, it's an average of this, and that. But my cycle was never 28 days. It was always 26. Right? And then the older I got, it got a little bit shorter, like you do. And now I'm at 2 weeks. But right now, I can be anywhere from 21 to 26 days. Right? That's nature. That's nature. That's my own nature shifting, my cycle shifting, because I'm moving through my own archetype into the next one, right? Into my queen era. Excuse me. So what does it mean? What is the point, right? The point is that we need to be focusing on the sun. The sun, the earth, and the stars, right? The more that we connect to the sun, the more access to healing energy we have. The more we connect to the earth, the more access to healing energy we have. It was about, I think, 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, that I said, okay, Moon, we're not connected anymore. I pulled out all of the lunar consciousness out of my body. I extracted it. And I just told the moon, I'm not going to pay attention to you anymore. You don't get to have any of my energy. You don't get to have any of my intention or attention. Right? And Alana says, as you said, focus on the sun. It just started getting bright, and it's been raining and thundering. And so the sun is coming out. That's how powerful the sun is, because it's a frequency that when you invoke it, it shows up, right? It will happen very often in my sessions with people that there will be a huge awareness, right? Or an epiphany or a big healing, and the light will literally fill the room, right? It's amazing. Because the sun is conscious, and the sun is conscious with us. The sun is with us. So 2 years ago, I received my dragon awareness, okay? So my dragon awareness came in, and my soul dragon came into my field rather forcefully. And I started working with her, learning about dragons, learned from her, learning about dragons, and created a dragon circle every Thursday and started to learn from her. And as I worked with her, I also started to receive from the solar dragon, who I call Solaris. So Solaris is the actual name of the sun, right? So we have Polaris, which is the central star of our universe that everything spins around. It is the one, it is the central magnetic force that everything in our reality spins around, Polaris. And our sun is Solaris, soul, right? So the dragon of the sun is called Solaris. And there are other kind of, solar dragons that kind of have the Solaria, Solarina, maybe, I don't know. But there are also these, thank you, Donna. Yeah, I'll mention those as well. So maybe I'll put a link in for them. So then, so as I was like, oh my gosh, there's all of this, right? As the dragon was coming in, she said, you need to share the codes, the dragon codes. You need to share these emerald codes that were also coming through into my awareness, and you need to share the solar dragon codes. So I have, I'll share with you here, I have on my Patreon these emanations, which I did 2 years ago in the autumn. And these are, they're sound healing, light language emanations. I'll put these over here. Yeah, so go to, I'll put it also here. So in this reality, the more that we connect the sun, the more strength we have, the more power we have, right? And especially, so there's also a solar calendar, right? There's a dude that I follow on Instagram that is a dragon timekeeper. Dragon timekeeper. Sounded like I have a speech impediment. So Sophie asks, do we still get benefits from the sun when we're sitting inside? Is that what you mean? You said sitting inside in it? Okay, red hair, I'll see you. Yeah, I am also on YouTube. This is on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all at the same time. Sophie, can you, yeah, okay. So obviously getting direct sun rays onto your body matter. But even if I am looking outside, I am seeing photons because it is bright outside, right? When I look at the tree outside and I see the light shining on the tree, I am seeing photons, and those photons are also going into my eyes. It's not the same, but you are still receiving from the sun, even if you don't have the sun directly with you, on you, right? And then there's the question and the concern of what's going on with the sun right now, right? I would love to run an experiment. Hi, Molly. Hi, Molly, over on Instagram. So this experiment, I'm going to include you all in this experiment. I'm going to give you a task, okay? Take a picture of the sun today. Take a picture of the sun and, maybe do it with some trees nearby so that you can see the lens flare. And I don't know if Android phones or Samsung phones have the same lens flare that iPhones have, right? So we have this ability with the iPhone to kind of capture a negative image of the light that we're taking a picture of. So if I took a picture of a light bulb, there would be a negative image of the light bulb in the in the picture, right? And it'll be like green or something, green or bluish, right? It's the same thing when we take a picture of the sun, you're going to have this negative image from the lens. It's basically from the internal mirrors in the camera that are creating this lens flare, as we call it. So lately, people have been taking pictures with the sun in the picture and the lens flare showing up like halogen light, not halogen lights, but like LED lights, like a hexagram. No, hexagram. What is the? Am I saying that right? Is it a hexagram? That's not a 7. The 6-sided, like a stop sign, would be no. That would be a septagram. It is a hexagram. Okay, thank you. Just talking to myself, answering my own questions over here. So let's do this today. I'm going to do it. I want you to do it. I haven't done this yet, but I'm very curious. We do know that there are probably millions of satellites surrounding the planet right now. And there is the potential. I don't know this for a fact, right? I'm just talking right now. But there is the potential that there has been something placed in front of the moon. Not the moon, the sun, excuse me. Something has been placed, could be a satellite, has been placed in front of the sun because, well, a lot of people have said, hey, the sun is different. It's like white hot instead of golden as like it used to be, right? And yeah. And Donna says when she sun gazes, she sees a pixelation, right? And that's not normal either, right? So when I sun gaze, I still see, some of those solar codes coming through the rays, the rainbow codes coming through the rays. I see that sometimes. So there could be, and these are just, we're just throwing these out as theories, guys. Right? It could be that there was a satellite that was placed in front of the sun to project a false sun. And we can speculate about all kinds of reasons, as to why that is. Another thing is that it could just be that the sun is changing. The sun goes through her own cycles, right? And, and we're actually at a solar maximum, right? So there's all of this solar activity and all of these things that are happening that we're experiencing from the sun. So what is changing? This is a huge question, and it's really frustrating to not know, It's really frustrating to be humans on this planet and to feel like there are so many lies that we can't, why can't we just know the truth? Why can't we just know the truth about the shape of our planet? Why can't we just know? Why can't we just have access to Antarctica? Just let us see. Show us. Stop fucking lying. Right? Like there's so many hard-held lies. Our history. So anyway, let's see, they're trying to put satellites up there to use the sun at night when the Earth is rotating, and do believe they have intentionally messed with the weather so there are more clouds so we do not get the sun rays. That's absolutely, absolutely correct, Vanessa. So we already know that they're manipulating the weather. They've admitted to cloud seeding. They're not saying, oh, we've been doing it since the 50s. they're not saying that because you have to look it up yourself. And there's plenty of people, thanks to social media, who do look it up for themselves and who do show it to you. And so people who deny that chemtrails are real are just people who are consciously choosing ignorance. That's frustrating. That is so frustrating, right? At the same time, if they're if they're just giving us inches of, little bits of information, we better take that whole mile. We better go after that information and say, give us more, right? So when we do look further, when we do look further, we look and see, oh, the Navy and DARPA have HARP. So they have these high atmospheric ionization process. I don't know what the whole acronym is, but those are 3 of them. And so HAARP, okay? So they have these arrays, high atmospheric array ionization, I don't know, whatever. There's no I in there. Anyway, so what they're doing is they're heating up the ionosphere with microwaves. And so they they spread the atmosphere with selenium, barium, aluminum, what else? Lots of things. And these radioactive materials plus heavy metals, right? Plus the, what's the one that actually causes the rain? The cloud seeding aspect. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. Iron oxide. So we have all of these different fucking heavy metals, first of all, in the atmosphere. And then they send in these microwaves from the ionosphere. So you have something that's sitting here, and then from above, these rays are projected. And so they have to, that you'll notice that they spray a grid, right? So they're not just going one way, they're going 2 ways, right? My husband can actually explain this a whole lot better than me because he's very science-minded and I'm a right-brained psychic girl, so these words don't come to me very easily. So these processes are happening all over the world. And the HARP and the other mechanics that they have out in the middle of the ocean on giant ships, right, that absolutely control weather. They can use the Doppler stations to create direct lines of energy in order to increase the power of a storm or decrease the power of a storm or direct a storm, right? There were very anomalous aspects of the atmosphere and the environment that happened before and after the Venezuelan earthquake, as well as before the Colombian earthquake. They're man-made. These are destabilization efforts, right? By the corrupted, controlling reptilians who are in human bodies, right? We're really getting off track here, guys. Are we off track or are we on track? We're on track, right? So everybody would just rather me just pull the fucking tarot cards. Tell me my future, right? Instead of telling me the truth. But your awakening, your spiritual awakening, is contingent on realizing what is actually happening on this planet. You cannot have a spiritual awakening and not have any awareness of the fucking matrix. You cannot have a spiritual awakening and still be dedicated, giving all of your energy to the moon. Absolutely not. You cannot have a spiritual awakening and be a staunch Democrat. You cannot be a staunch Republican and say, I am an awakened individual. Fuck you. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going today. It's the eclipse and I'm bleeding, and so I'm just going to let myself express myself. But like, if you're literally still choosing sides, you're not awake at all. It is the ability to hold the center, to see how, yes, some of the things that you say are correct. Yes, some of the things that you say are correct, right? But if you, thank you, Vanessa, if you are hooking into identity politics, you are only woke, you are not awake. Right? And that is even the corruption of the word woke is just horrible. The way it doesn't even belong to us. It's not even a part of our culture, right? So your awakening has to coincide with conspiracy theories. Like literally the people who are really, and you can still come back to Jesus as long as you don't join the church, right? If you think that you're spiritually awake and you're still a Christian, think again. If you are a part of an organized religion and you think that you are spiritually advanced, think again. Nope. No. Your spiritual evolution, the true awakening process, is breaking out of programming, breaking out of doctrine, and remembering yourself. Remembering who you are, how you got here, why you came here, and what you're here to do. Because we all have different jobs. We all signed up for different, like when I do readings for people, often, especially in the beginning, they're like, what's my purpose? I was like, okay, well, what do you love to do? Because that's what your purpose is tied to, right? What do you love? That's your purpose, right? So, excuse me. So, if you don't know I didn't know I was going to be doing what I'm doing. I knew that singing was my purpose. I knew that music was my purpose. And I knew that, I'm talking about my 20s. When I was in my 20s, I knew that I had a purpose. I knew that I had a really important purpose and that I needed to focus on my awakening, focus on my spiritual evolution and my spiritual strength, right? Like spiritual durability, And for some reason, the memory that's coming up is the last time that I saw one of my girlfriends from high school. When I knew that was the last time I was going to see her, because she wasn't going anywhere. She was still stuck in her mind, in love with a former boyfriend who she left because he was abusive. And she's still thinking about Luis, right? Like, girl, it's been 5 years. You have a life to live. You're almost 30 and you're still a para. You have a degree. You have a Bachelor of Arts. Or maybe it was science, whatever. Right? And it was just baffling to me that there was someone who was so stuck in their lives, so stuck in their childhood trauma, so stuck in their pain that they couldn't even hook into anything of their own that they loved and pursue it. And that's when I knew that I had to sever people like that from my life. Because every time that I saw them, they would just pull me down. And my spirit was not strong enough at the time to stay stable in myself as an empath, as an intuitive, as a sensitive person. I would walk away from those times of being with those people completely depleted and fucking miserable. And I had to say, you know what? I'm done. I cannot compromise my own energy and my own happiness because you refuse to move forward, because you refuse to pursue your purpose on this planet, which everyone has a purpose. But you have a choice to pursue it or not. Pursue it or not. And so I was friends with the whole family. And I had to email her mother and say, I can't. I love you guys. I've known you since I was 13. I love all of you. Even their younger brother, right? Like, I was friends with all of them, and they were all so fucked up and refusing to heal. And I had to remove them from my life. And, here now it's like 20 years later since I did that. And I'm always like curious, where are they? Where are they now? And every time I look them up, they're in the same fucking place. She's still a para in her 40s, right? So I'm not saying this to, I certainly don't feel better than, that's not something I ever feel. I don't think that I'm a better person because I was able to move forward in my life. And I do feel incredibly privileged to have not been raised with the emotional trauma that they were. But so fortunate to be raised in the way that I was, to be encouraged to pursue my weirdness, to be encouraged to sing, to pursue a performance degree, right? Like, there was nothing that says you have to be ... Absolutely, Donamo says, possible NPC. You're absolutely right. A whole family of NPCs. But NPC does not mean that there's no hope for you. You just do not have the connection to yourself, to your soul, that you need to actually participate in this, in your own awakening. You can be healed, but that non-player character energy really comes from you desiring, and this is actually one of the 7 powers that come out of the teachings from Mary Magdalene, the desire to connect, the desire to have a relationship with spirit, with God, with the greater oneness, with source. If you are going to evolve, if you are going to grow as a human, you have to recognize that your soul wants to be with God. It wants reunion. And the reunion comes from your active participation in veneration, which creates the connection. So God is always spirit, union, the oneness, love, force is always reaching out to you. But you cannot receive it if you don't reach back. The craving for spirit, the craving for God. Right? What happens, another aspect, one of these other 7 powers, is the craving for death. And it's a very interesting thing to process or to even sit with. Why would I crave death? Because I need something to break me out of this place where I am, where I'm stuck. I'm craving exit. I'm craving absolution. I'm craving for something to just come and take over and take me to the next phase, right? That craving is so natural because you want to evolve, you want to grow. But if you're not in that craving, if you're not aware of your own spirit, right? Here's the thing. People who have mental illness or who are challenged in their emotional process or even with, chemical imbalances or maybe even entity attachments, that craving is dulled. Excuse me. Did you hear that? Oh, I had a little very quiet burp. So, so we have to, and I hear that Donna, she says, yeah, I have to fight that almost daily. And so we have to be, hello, Therese. So we have to be desiring. We have to, kind of be in that place of there's more than this, right? Okay. I'm going to amplify my desire to know more, right? Okay. I want to know more, right? Once we start to turn towards spirit, turn towards that, yes, Vanessa, turn towards that, I think there's might be more, when an atheist becomes agnostic, it's a powerful thing, right? You might not be, you come from this, there's absolutely nothing else but this, and to the I don't know, actually. You're on your way. You're on your way, right? Eventually, hopefully, it is my prayer that you have an experience that proves that there is a greater energy that is with us, that is around us, that is in you, that desires more for you. But you have to respond to that. You have to ask for it. You have to intend that connection. You have to reach for it, right? You need to participate with that. And when you do, the universe responds, right? So if you're not praying for your life in one way or another, or praying for certain things, or learning how to pray in a good way instead of, oh, Lord, I need, I want, I need, I don't have, right? That's not the way to pray, right? We should know that by now. But a lot of people don't know that. They're stuck in this oh, I need, right? When you pray, when you put effort into the phrase, and let this be redundant if you already know that, not everybody knows, you amplify the need. You create more of that need. You're not actually calling in the thing that you think that you need, right? So when you shift to Creator, I'm so grateful that you're bringing us this new car. Goodness gracious. Goosh is goodness gracious, short, shortened. Goosh. Oh, I crack myself up. Goodness gracious, we need a new car. We need a 5-person family car, right? I can see the car. I can see my ability to pay for it. And I'm just so grateful. I can feel the presence of the new car in our family, in our life, and being able to go on awesome road trips and not worry about the car because it's in such a good shape and it's a great car, right? So being in that energy of acknowledging, being grateful, you pull that thing towards you. That's what you're doing, right? And the universe is like, oh yeah, let me make it. Let me put it together. Here you go. So having that desire to connect, and then once you start feeling that response from the universe, builds that connection, which feeds the presence of your purpose coming forward. So if you feel like you're stuck in any way on your path in regards to your purpose, in regards to your mission here on the planet, let it be known. The more that you reach out to the universe and say, show me, reflect back to me what I am here for. Remind me of the things that I love so much, that I'm like really good at. You know, like that's the key. That's the key. Like, I love doing this and I've got a knack for it. You know, that's how you know what your purpose is. So in closing today, and thank you all for being here, I encourage you to really lean into the things that you love. Lean into the things that make you happy. Oh, great, my daughter's. Oh, I need to send my daughter money. So, lunch money, here it comes. Excuse me. She's also calling me. I'm not going to answer the phone. Do the thing. Excuse me, everybody. Doesn't want to do it because she's calling me. Okay. Do the thing. There you go. Yay, technology. I just like technology just sent. Just sent, right? There she goes. Okay. How cool is that, though? How many of you were like at lunchtime with your friends out at lunch in high school without any money? Right? 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Oh my God. Yeah. So, my friends, reach out to the universe. Reach out to the sun. Reach out to your soul, your higher self, and say, beloved, I'm ready for more. My capacity has increased and I am ready to fill it. Show me my purpose. Help me to see it, to feel it, to know it, and to nourish it. Show me the resources that support this purpose. Show me that I am so sustained by this purpose, that you, universe, creator, God, higher self, my own being, show me that I am on the right path by providing the sustenance that I need to survive, by pursuing my purpose, by saying yes to my creativity, my artistry, my affinity, my scientific mind, my creative force, however that flows through me. Show it to me. If I don't see it, make it obvious, and show me the resources, the financial support that reflects this pursuit of my purpose. May it be so. Yeah. So today is a powerful day to sit back and receive. Let me get some water here. We're not working with the moon. We're not doing any rituals today, because today is about what is not being seen. And so I encourage you to take the time to meditate today. Give yourself this space to listen. This is really the best time to say, what greater purpose am I missing? Sit back and receive. Maybe you can go swimming or be in nature or draw a bath and be in an element, with an element that can be a conduit of spirit. And water is profound for that. I highly recommend water, especially when you need to receive guidance and information. Go to the water, right? But know that whatever has been hidden will not remain hidden. So what is hidden? So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to pull out the tarot cards because they love to talk about what's hiding. They love to say, oh, this is what you missed, right? So what are we missing? So here, let me just put this up here real quick. People as they come in. Tarot cards for what? Let's see. How do I want to put this? What we need to see, what has been hidden. All right, so we're going to do this. And pick a number, okay? Pick a number 1 through 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. So pick a number. Let me do this again. I'm going to write that again and say pick a number. Yeah. Okay. Tarot cards for what we need to see or know that has been hidden. Pick a number. 1, 2, or 3. Yes, Vanessa. Yes, you do. Here, sister, I'll give you that link so you can go to it. It's just $15 a month, right? It's like 2 fancy coffees. There we go. Okay. Here we go. So pick. Hi, Growing the Family Farm. Growing the Family Farm is exactly what I also want to be doing. I definitely feel you're in CST. That's 1 p.m. for you. Mm-hmm. It's in 1 hour. Yep. 50 minutes. So let's be quick here with these cards. Has everybody picked 1, 2, or 3? What number am I picking today? We're picking number 1. Thank you very much. Number 1 for me. All right. So we talked about a lot of things that are occulted today, right? In line with these, with the eclipse, you know, what is being hidden, what is being revealed? What is being revealed? Okay, here we go. Once again, these are Tarot of the Cosmic Seed by Lalania Simone, who is a local Coloradan lady. She owns 2 metaphysical stores, Denver and Colorado Springs. These cards are amazing. You'll see how beautiful they are. 1, 2, or 3. Vanessa, what did you choose? Did you choose? Here we go for number 1. This one's for me. And I like to pick 3 cards. We will not be reading reverse today. Well, I'm so glad I picked number 1. Okay, so first we have the world, right? We are coming full circle. We are being fulfilled. The world, this is 20, right? The major arcana, 21. 21 of 22. To make sure everybody can see this. Yeah, Therese also picked one. So everything that you are working towards, you are completing. And there might be an element of completion here that is like this is a closing of a chapter. There's an energy here that is finished. It's complete. And from this place, of course, I'm talking about like what is seen, what is hidden, what is not hidden. That is the High Priestess card. Within the traditional High Priestess card, you do have Boaz and I always say Raja because anyway, there's a black pillar and a white pillar, and that's like what is hidden and what is not hidden, right? And the High Priestess, who is she's the first card after the Magician, right? So she is the first real true manifester. The Magician says, oh, I know what I'm capable of. And the High Priestess creates it, right? So we put these energies into motion. We are really beginning to move in the major arcana with the High Priestess. So what are you doing? What is it in your life that you're doing right now that puts you in a motion, that also puts you in your seat, right? That puts you in your place. We're talking about purpose. This is really important. This is really valuable. So your connection to spirit, your connection to the different aspects of nature and how they speak, right? The things that are, so I'm reading Good Gari, this is where I'm reading number 1 right now. So funny enough, this does have a big giant moon there, and that's okay. That's okay. Let's look at what is reflected within us, right? The High Priestess is about outward knowing and inward knowing at the same time, as above, so below, right? So I love that Therese, she's hired someone to help her build her website so that she can move forward. That's perfect energy. That work is being seen and acknowledged. So then there's also an inner stirring. There's a newness here, right? And we've just closed a chapter with the world, right? Or this chapter is closing. What is this that's closing? There is definitely, especially with the eclipse, there's a time that is over, right? There is a time that is over, and now we're in the creation. We're in the creation of what's new. And what is new? The Queen of Swords. So be careful with your speech, right? You might have a little bit of a sharp tongue. You want to be mindful of your communication now. You want to be actually improving. And this is very interesting. I actually started following like word of the day people so that I can expand my vocabulary. So that's cool. This is kind of reflecting that. The Nurturer of Swords, she can be a little bit vindictive. There's this energy, like she's not the king. She's not the master of the tongue and the mind. She is sometimes still a little bit manipulative, right? So, excuse me. But she is very clear with what she wants to be created, right? So clarifying your communication, right? To raise the copy, right? And this is the same for me too. I'm in a new place of definitely of the High Priestess. I have my mentorship coming up in September, at the end of September, and I am like constantly talking about it and really actually desiring to have new forms of talking about it, new ways of talking about it. I feel very redundant. I feel very I need new words to talk about what I do, right? So this is really perfect. So all of you number ones, stay on it. The Good Gari says, I finally started writing and sharing again after a long time. Congratulations. Trying to find the courage to send stuff to my editor again. That can be scary. Could that be the swords? Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing, the queen is much more audacious than the king. The king can be like, much more, uh, not stagnant, but just like he knows his place, he knows what he's doing, he doesn't need, right? But the queen is like, oh, let's go this way, right? Let's imagine this, and let's take that energy and put it here, and let's take that energy and put it, right? So there is some action with it, even though it's feminine, right? Be mindful of that. Not necessarily the masculine force of swords, but here she's remembering her power. And I think for you with your writing, this is you remembering your gift and acknowledging your gifts. And this is really important. The queen is really good at acknowledging her aspects that serve a purpose. Okay, moving on. Number twos. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hi, Mommy and Four. Four Samuels? They're all Samuels? Maybe that's your last name. Okay. This is for number twos now. Here we go. Okay, like I said, not reading reverse today because I'm just pulling the cards out willy-nilly, so. Okay, number twos. You're welcome, Donna. You know I love it. Four of Cups. So this is the energy leading up to now. The Four of Cups, is kind of like, I don't want to know, right? Like, I'm not ready for that information. The Four of Cups is kind of like Spirit saying, here, I have something for you. And you're just like, I really don't want it. So there might be an element of recent rejection of energy coming into your life, or that, that the universe really needs you to work on this emotional aspect that you're avoiding. Okay. And this has been brought to your attention and it keeps coming back. And so it's brought you here to this place of the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups, this is the friendship card, can be the partnership card. When it's with the Four of Cups coming in, and, four is foundational, four is stable, right? So this is like new information, new emotional information. And now maybe this is a new person in your life. Maybe this is a new awareness in your life that you need to contend with. This is something, and I actually feel like this is more about you and your relationship to yourself. This might be your relationship with your inner child or your inner elder. Where am I going? Who have I been? And what is it that Spirit wants me to know or to heal with that fourth cup so that I can stabilize, right? So that I can root like the tree in the picture, the baobab tree, right? Because from this place, total connection, your surrender, your healing, the Hanged One. It's not a hanged man in this deck. It's the Hanged One. And she is totally surrendered. She knows that the vines are going to hold her. They're not even tied. And still she's suspended. And still she is now, look at this. She has the cosmic awareness of the rose within her. So she knows that she is connected, and look at this black hole below her. She's not afraid of the unknown. She is surrendered to the spirit that holds her and supports her. Right? Mommy of Four asks, would that work for grief? This, especially the Four of Cups, can absolutely represent grief, represent a grieving matter that you might not be allowing yourself to feel. And the Two of Cups says, you don't have a choice. You have to feel this. You have to be present with this. This is a part of you, and it needs your attention. It needs your awareness. When you do that, when you give yourself the space to feel, to be present with what Spirit is showing you through your emotions, there is freedom. There's growth. There's greater connection to Spirit. And there is the ability to allow yourself to let go into those emotions. Allow yourself the surrender that you deserve. Yeah? Yeah. Grief is such a powerful element, right? It's such a powerful experience. Hi, Katrina. That it engages you whether you like it or not. And so the Hanged One tells us, surrender to this. Because if you fight it, it will harm you. We have to surrender to grief. We have to surrender to what our emotions are pushing us towards. And those emotions need to be moved through in order for the healing that happens on the other side. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot that people are holding, that we're all holding collectively, whether you're aware of it or not, because we're all one organism. We're all connected. And so, sister, the grief that you feel, that you carry, your ability to feel it and to be with it and to process it is a superpower. Because the majority of humanity are avoiding it in a plethora of ways, right? Through numbing, through drugs and alcohol, through avoidance, right? All of these different things. Mommy, you are carrying it. And then the women, just being a woman, and then being a mother, and feeling yourself, feeling your children, feeling the world. There's a lot that's happening here. And for you to be willing to feel it, you are not sacrificing anything. You are supporting humanity by feeling, allowing yourself to feel that. However, that's a surrender card. It's not a dwelling card. Surrender that Spirit exists within the grief. That Spirit is present for that experience. And that you will move through it and be on the other side. And that's why we have girlfriends. Which is, that's when we have the Three of Cups. And that's when we need our ladies to hold us, Absolutely. Absolutely. So remember that the healing that your emotions bring you only happens if you allow yourself to go through the process and end up on the other side of it. In that surrender. which the hanged one represents. Thank you, number twos. Whew. That was a card, huh? No, or 3 cards. Okay. Number threes. Number 3. Here we go. Jeez. Okay. Is what process? Going through grief? Donna asks, is that process in Dad's book? She's referring to my father's book. Hey, Emmy. No. That process is just the human process of being present with your emotions. Is that the process you're talking about? My dad's book is called The New Regression Therapy. And it's a textbook on spiritual alchemy in the context of past life regression and entity removal. But let me think. I would say, alchemizing the grief, obviously, it is present. But there's a difference between feeling the grief on the planet, feeling the grief in the world, versus the beliefs that we're carrying that create grief for us, right? So different, but the beliefs that we have that are holding us in our grief or holding us in depression, yes, absolutely. That is spiritual alchemy. Let's tend to that. Let's invoke divine love to support us. Yeah. Okay, number threes. You are cool. You're the sacrificial lamb. But that's not squashing. That's not a squash. That's just ignoring, Yeah, I know what you mean by saying squashing the grief, but yeah. Let's not do that, right? Okay, let's be quick. Number threes, you have to start. The energy that has brought you into this moment is the 5 of coins. The 5 of coins can be that experience of feeling without, right? This can express a lack of money, lack of resources, lack of support in general, right? And that feeling of just like, ooh, whoa, this can be a woe is me card. This can be a where's my friends? Where are my people? Where are my family, right? But more about where are my resources? And that energy brought us to this moment where we are overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed. This is the 10 of Swords. We're overwhelmed by information. We're overwhelmed by our own thoughts. We're overwhelmed by other people's opinions telling us what to do, right? We're overwhelmed. And the 10 of Swords brings us to this place where I've already acknowledged my guilt. I've already acknowledged my pain. And now I am just under the onslaught of my own mind. And I have to break free. I cannot remain here. So it's good that you're in this place of awareness that, something needs to change, right? And also there's this, kind of severe need to protect yourself. This is, it's a 10. So it's the end of a process. And this can feel like loss. This can feel like endings, finality, a painful ending, but also a spiritual death, ego death, This is where you're in your overwhelm, right? That you're that's enough. I reclaim myself. I reclaim my power, and all of you can just fuck off. This is the Ten of Swords. I really like this card, not for what it tells me about myself, but that it's a pinnacle moment of, are you going to keep putting up with this shit or not? Are you going to tell whomever to shut up and leave you to your own intuition? Or, good, Vanessa, blessings, see you soon. Or, this is where boundaries are born. This is where you draw the line and say, oh, I'm done with that mindset. I'm done with that narrative. I'm done with you putting all of your opinions and thoughts on me and trying to control my process, right? Done. Endings, right? So then let us hope that there's something positive that comes out of this, and there is. And I feel quite powerful seeing this card and knowing that you haven't seen it yet. But what do you think? Now, this is not a major arcana, and this is not a royalty card. But this is you reshaping your reality. This is you recognizing that you're changing the narrative, you're changing the story, you're rewriting it all together. Do you know what card it is? It's the Six of Swords. You're traveling, whether this is an internal shift or a literal physical change, you're leaving that old place. This is a perfect card for what is here. The Five of Coins and the Ten of Swords, that you're just, I'm over this process. I'm over this old mindset, the poverty experience, whatever it is, I'm over it. I'm going to step into my future now. I'm going to face my future and see that there are bright skies and bloody rainbows, right? And the Six is about leadership. It's about service. It's not about putting yourself in front, right? The Six of Wands is, that's the Six of Wands. But the Six of, in being recognized by your community, that's the Six of Wands. But the Six of Swords is almost like shrouded, covert relocation, right? But with that, it's the relocation of the mind, my friends. We're taking our mindset, we're taking our thoughts, we're taking our finances to a new shore. One that is supportive, one that is powerful, one that acknowledges our existence and our purpose and our presence. And these swords, you know, when she's looking into the water, she's kind of looking behind her, but she's looking into the water. She's very present. She's not looking ahead to say like, battle faster, right? She's actually in the middle of the transformation, choosing the other side, rowing. What does this row do for me? What is this water here to teach me? So she's in the water. So now she's not overwhelmed by her thoughts and her emotions. She's present with her thoughts and with her emotions that are taking her to the bright shore. Blessings. So many blessings to all of you. Thank you for being here with me. And those were great cards. All three draws were great. I hope that you were able to receive them well, and to remember that, you know, your connection to spirit supports your purpose. Your connection to the things that bring you joy and happiness, that is connected to your purpose. That's part of your purpose. Yeah. So let us close with a quick prayer. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you. Thank you for uniting us, for bringing our hearts back into connection with Source, for seeing through the false realities around us so that we can know ourselves as spirit, as soul, as Source. We pray and allow our guardians, our guides of the highest order to assist us in becoming our best selves, in our own self-realization. We thank you, guardian angels, spirit guides, higher self, soul partners. Thank you. Thank you for guiding us. Thank you for helping us to hear your guidance, to watch for omens, and to listen to the quiet voice of nature. Thank you for your profundity in our lives. May we remain connected. May we continue to, to support others who are in need, to connect with our human family and deepen our power, our health, our wellness, and the balance on this planet. Thank you for allowing the truth to prevail. In the name of harmony, love, truth, and justice. And so it is. Thank you all so much. Thank you for being here. We'll see you again soon. Blessings.